Hello everyone, and welcome back to What's Been Playing, the show where we put a spotlight on select video games and answer the lifelong question of, what is really worth playing? Last time, we looked at Sonic the Hedgehog, the Blue Blur's debut title. While it has its pros, it's weighed down by structural issues and an overall case of first game syndrome. Nevertheless, Sonic Team, the group responsible for bringing Sonic into the spotlight, had a good foundation on their hands, and judging by the fact that it's Sonic's 30th anniversary as well, it goes to show that Sonic wasn't just a fad of the 90s. For better or for worse. Now, we've reached stop number 2 on this mini marathon, and I'm sure that for any Sonic fan, this game doesn't even need an introduction. It's not only one of Sonic's most iconic titles on the Sega Genesis, but in the entire series. After the success of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega was on a roll and finally had a solid system seller on their hands, and the Sonic Team, there was nowhere else they can go but up. And up they sure went. It's often said that the sequel is never as good as the original, but in this case, that's quite the opposite. So how did Sonic Team follow up the success of the first game? Well, there's no better way to find out than to find out ourselves. Let's take a look at Sonic the Hedgehog 2. As previously mentioned, Sonic the Hedgehog was a big hit and became an essential game for the library of any Genesis owner. Sonic became a major mascot of the 90s, encompassing many traits that were relevant at the time. It was also a huge help that the game would soon be bundled with the Sega Genesis, which by itself was currently cheaper than the Super Nintendo, Nintendo's newest system at the time and competitor of the Genesis. As you could imagine, bundling Sonic the Hedgehog with the Genesis made choosing to purchase a Genesis at the time as opposed to the Super Nintendo just to be a better option. Sega finally had a character that people could associate the Genesis with. And at the time, the once dominating Nintendo had a new kid on the playground to worry about. But Sonic Team wasn't just going to leave their success at that, and wanting to capitalize on said success, the team was interested in developing a sequel to Sonic's first adventure, which Sega actually denied at first. So why would Sega make such a decision? Well, in order to find that out, we need to go back a bit first. The development towards a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog wasn't as easy or clear-cut as one would expect. Well, if we want to start somewhere, let's start after the release of the first game. Shortly following the release of Sonic the Hedgehog, Yuji Naka, lead programmer of the game, actually left Sega of Japan due to complications within the company, along with other members of the staff. Though, while the first Sonic game was in development, Mark Cerny, who would be the lead designer for several PlayStation consoles in the future, established the Sega Technical Institute, or STI for short, while he was in California. Basically, their goal was to work on more games in the States. Luckily, he was able to convince many of the Sonic Team members to come and work at STI, with the promise of a better working environment. Now that the company had some extra group members still into hand, the team expressed interest in developing a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as the holiday release of 1992. So why did Sega initially turn down the offer? Well, to put it simply, they thought it was too early to develop a sequel. A decision that soon changed after the extraordinary amount of success that came from the first game. And from there, they got the green light to start developing the game. So from this point, it sounds like the team's got their act together, right? All smooth sailing towards the game's completion? Wrong! The problems didn't quite end there. Due to the staff, which was already larger than the first game to begin with, consisting of people from both the Americas and Japan, the development of the game was plagued with communication issues between both groups, and there was back and forth here and there between members about different aspects of the game. I didn't even mention the worst part yet. Wanna guess how long they were given to develop the game? 9 months. Yes, 9 months. That's quite a deadline, huh? The definition of a time crunch. 9 months obviously isn't a lot of time to make a game, and it definitely does show in the final product. And obviously, I'm not talking about the quality of the game. No sir, I'm referring to the cut content. Oh man, if you want to talk about a game with a shit ton of cut content, look no further. Levels, gameplay mechanics, enemies, the works. A lot of these ideas only exist in playable betas nowadays, which are super interesting to delve into. You have cut levels like Wood Zone, the popular Hidden Palace Zone, and Genocide City. Genocide fucking City. I wonder what their crime rates are there. According to Al Nielsen, who was the marketing director of Sega of America at the time, Sonic 2 would have been twice the size of what it is today if development went smoothly and they were able to implement every idea they had. Just like the Sonic 1 video, I would absolutely recommend researching more into this topic because there's just so much to delve into. You can honestly make a whole separate video with the amount of cut content Sonic 2 has, but I'll spare you the specific details. So, Sonic 2 was in the works. Sega wanted to make sure folks were excited to see where Sonic's adventures took them next. Along with the promise of more levels and faster gameplay, the the game would also mark the debut of Tails, a two-tailed fox who was Sonic's best friend and sidekick for this new journey. Though his full name is technically Miles Tails Prower, us Americans came up with Tails to make it roll off the tongue a bit more. Tails' introduction was definitely one of the more interesting aspects of the game. You tag along to Sonic with a knack for anything mechanical and uses his two tails to keep up with him or fly through the air. I like the guy. I think giving Sonic a pal to journey with was a great idea, and I think Tails was just the right character to go with him. And I mean, look at that. Now that's an iconic duo if I've seen one. With marketing out of the way, the game was slated for a near global release, and on November 21st, 1992, also known as Sonic Tuesday, creatively enough, the game finally launched. In Japan, that is. The Americans and Europeans got it a few days later on November 24th. Oops. Talk about killing the excitement, and the rest is history. I mean, most people already know about this game's reception. Sonic 2 stands as one of Sonic's most celebrated adventures. It was a huge success and became the second best-selling Genesis game on the platform, only being beaten by its predecessor. Like the first game, Sonic 2 is also playable on a plethora of different platforms and game compilations, and also like the first, got a Master System and Game Gear port. So with all the information prior to Sonic 2's release out of the way, what does the game have to offer? Well, up to some more tomfuckery, Dr. Robotnik is up to no good again, as he is once again seeking to obtain the power of the now 7 Chaos Emeralds to power the Death Egg. God, I swear I've seen something like this somewhere before, I just can't... Oh! It's a golf ball. Ah, Sonic Team, you sneaky fucks. And cause the two aren't having any of that shit, Sonic and Tails set off to stop the Doctor and save the animal inhabitants who have once again been captured. Compared to the first game, Sonic 2 steps it up with around 10 levels as opposed to 6, and featuring 2 acts instead of 3. But that doesn't mean each level is shorter. Sonic 2 goes for levels with one less act, but each act is now longer and has more secrets to find and paths to take, which I think is really nice. I think it allows for a more consistent pace in terms of the levels you visit, and levels now don't overstay their welcome like they would in the original. It's made so much better by the fact that this game takes the level of inconsistency that Sonic 1's levels had, and goes away with it, and completely knocks it out of the park. This is what I'm talking about. Every single level in this game has a central focus on speed, and doesn't contain levels that make you feel like you can't go fast, which is outstanding! No matter what the level is, you'll find opportunities to go fast in one way or another. It's an almost constant thrill ride of adrenaline that keeps you pumped. It makes those moments where you do slow down a bit feel much better, and makes the speed sections feel like a reward. And due to the broadened level design, the alternate pathways feel much more meaty in terms of its length and the amount of secrets you can find, which offers you an experience that will allow you to explore your surroundings, but will also reward you with items and rings for those willing to go off the beaten path. And you can see this right from the first level, Emerald Hill Zone. Yeah, you'll be blazing through those corkscrews and those iconic slopes and loops, but if you look hard enough, you can find hidden item boxes in caves, or alternate paths. On the topic of speed, this game amps it up by a million. Not only do levels feature more opportunities to go fast, but Sonic just feels faster. In the first game, it was like this. Now, it's like this. Ka-chow! I always get a burst of adrenaline whenever I go through those loops or long speed sections. Watching Sonic blaze through those levels is so captivating in motion. It's even more exciting when Sonic even outruns the screen itself at times. The best part is, Sonic now has access to the speed at any time. It's the first game to introduce it, the Spin Dash. It's a godsend to his moveset. Where in the original game you might have to run backward to pick up some speed if you're trying to go up a slope. Now, it's just hold down and a few taps of the button, and bam, you're off. This allows Sonic to practically go from 0 to 100 in an instant, which is so useful. While it is a tool to gain speed, it can also act as a means to reach new routes too. Just like the first game, you can reach higher altitudes if you jump from an incline with some speed, which can be used to find secrets or alternate pathways. Luckily, Sonic 2 also goes away with the speed cap problem as well, so no more awkwardly running the same speed down slopes. Either way, Emerald Hill does a great job displaying all of these new mechanics that Sonic 2 implements, and lets you mess around with them too. An overall, fantastic introduction. Next up, we have Chemical Plant Zone, which, compared to Marble Zone... This level is where the speed truly kicks it into high gear. You have the speed boosters, the dozens and dozens of loops. It's a constant joyride. That is, until you get to that dreaded water section, which many players have met their demise, I'm sure, including myself when I first played the game. There is a route you can take that skips the entirety of it if you're skilled enough though. Aquatic Ruin is the next area and... Wait, is that... water? no, not again.
I hate water!
Yes, Aquatic Ruin is this game's water level, but it's nowhere near as boring as Labyrinth Zone is. There's at least a straightforward path underwater, and you can honestly avoid the water altogether if you're skilled enough. But yes, the water is as annoying as it was in Sonic 1. Sonic is once again put under a time limit underwater, and your movement is still significantly slower. Yes, there is that liquid and chemical plant zone, but that's not water. Don't you see? That's Kool-Aid, you idiot. Side note, the plants in the foreground also look a little off in this stage. Then comes Casino Night Zone.
So what would you say is the source of your gambling addiction?
Sonic.
Casino Night is the level that began Sonic's fascination with casino-themed levels. I love the aesthetic here. It's so bright and exciting. Throughout the level, you'll come across points where you'll be controlling Sonic as if he was a pinball. The blue hedgehog's grown tired of playing pinball and has finally decided to become one. You can bounce yourself off bumpers, launch yourself from these springs like an actual pinball machines, and come on, it's too much of a tease to not test your luck here. Overall, a great level. Hilltop is next, and yup, it's sort of like Emerald Hill Zone, but with more hills. There's not much to say about it. It's not bad, it's just kind of there. You have these lifts that take you from point A to point B, these seesaws that launch you to higher parts of the stage, and the rising lava, but that's really it. It's just alright. Next up is Mystic Cave Zone, an underground level with a bopping theme and cool cave aesthetics. I like this one a lot for the vine mechanics and the abundance of tiny slopes, but we can't forget about the... Whose idea was this? Oil Ocean follows Mystic Cave and, it's pretty okay. I like the aesthetic, but is this OSHA compliant? As the name suggests, the level is filled to the brim with oil, including some fun oil slides for you to ride free of charge. Overall, nothing amazing, but not bad either. I remember it more so for the neat concept as opposed to the level design. Metropolis Zone is the last traditional zone, and... Metropolis Zone is essentially this game's scrap brain zone. And not just thematically either. This level has a hearty dose of that Sonic 1 bullshit. Especially the enemies, man. They suck. Either their attacks are hard to dodge, or they are placed in areas where you just can't see them. These fucking crab things, oh my god. It's not just that, the level has a plethora of other obstacles that will try and give you trouble. It's great high-class shit, I assure you. And wait, is that in Act 3? 3? 3? Why 3? Yep, as if this level wasn't already a giant middle finger already, Metropolis Zone has 3 acts, meaning this level definitely overstays its welcome. Why? Didn't we establish that 2 acts was the perfect length? Well, at least the music is also pretty good here too. I say Metropolis is the last traditional zone because the next 3 levels are essentially just 1 act each. Sky Chase Zone is next, and this is kind of boring. I don't know, I mean, I like the music and scenery, it's just slow. It feels like an auto-scroller without 100% being one? Tails is flying you in Sonic's plane, the Tornado, towards Robotnik's Wing Fortress, and whichever direction you move Sonic, the plane will go as well. It's just a lot of waiting, and it's really not all too interesting. Definitely a part I don't look forward to. At least it's not too long. After a bit of flying, Tails drops you off at Wing Fortress Zone, Robotnik's high-flying ship full of bottomless pits, spinning propellers, turrets, and these boosters on the ground that... Oh, sure, okay. As the last level, sort of, it sure feels like one. Put your skills to the test before the final boss, and can raise the anxiety a bit. After taking care of Robotnik's weird laser thing on the ship, the Doctor retreats into a smaller ship, causing Sonic and Tails to give chase. Leaping onto the ship, Sonic is taken up to space, where he and Robotnik have their final showdown inside the Death Egg. Remember the final boss from Sonic 1? Well, it's not much different here, except you have to fight 2 bosses. Before you fight Dr. Robotnik, you fight Silver Sonic, and do you see it too? No rings! Yep, you have to fight both bosses without any rings, just like Sonic 1's final boss. But Silver Sonic, I mean, he's kinda easy. He's no Metal Sonic, that's for sure. You give chase to Robotnik, who... Damn, he's pretty fast. We have a goddamn Olympic runner right here. Anyways, he leaps into a small hatch into the floor where... God damn. This is the Death Egg robot, something that, like Green Hill Zone, likes to show up a lot too. It's big, it's menacing, it's the perfect final boss. You have to time your jumps carefully though to avoid meeting an early death, or yeah, it takes longer to defeat him, but I still won, right? And as you land the last hit, the robot starts to blow up, prompting Sonic to escape the Death Egg right as it explodes. And that's it. Seeing Sonic in his freefall, Tails gets into the tornado and saves him during his descent, with a musical piece in the background that I personally can't get enough of. Man, such a bro moment.
Overall, yes. All of Sonic 2's levels are easily better than any of Sonic 1's levels. They all just have a clear understanding that speed should be something you're always able to achieve in every level, and this game follows that philosophy. Yeah, there is still a bit of that Sonic 1 BS, but it's definitely toned down compared to the original. Now with the levels out of the way, let's talk more about the game's design itself.
Like the original game, there are still rings to collect, monitors to find like the ring, power sneakers, invincibility, extra life, and shield monitor, badniks to defeat, checkpoints that save your progress in a level, and of course, a boss fight against Robotnik in one of his new contraptions. The boss fights are definitely much more interesting here than how they were in the first game. Each one has a unique gimmick that'll make you change how you approach a fight. The quality of the music is still definitely top-notch. You have your upbeat tunes, funky songs, it all comes together to create an awesome soundtrack that's leagues better than the first game. But overall, it still feels like Sonic. All the essential elements are here and accounted for. But what about some of the new stuff? How about Tails? You know, one of the primary aspects of the game. At the start of the game, you can choose to play Sonic with Tails, just Sonic if you're feeling a little antisocial, and Tails himself. Though, it's just a character swap of Sonic. When Tails is with Sonic, he'll copy every move that Sonic makes and follow him around because he's just that irresistible. He can also help land an extra hit on a boss or pick up any stray rings you might have missed. When he happens to go off screen, which will happen a lot, he'll fly back toward you. Oddly enough, he doesn't get the ability to fly normally until the third game, so only the AI can do that. What a tease. It's nice to have him around, and it's cool having a buddy who can lend some assistance when needed. Unless you're trying to combo Robotnik and he happens to jump in and ruin it and send you plummeting towards your death. Yep, thanks buddy. Just like the original game, there are special stages to find with each containing one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, but accessing them here is a bit different. As opposed to reaching the end of a stage with 50 rings, if you pass through a checkpoint with 50 rings, a ring of sparkles will surround the top of it, and if you jump into it, you'll be transported to the special stages. Now with 100% less trippy. Glad to see Sonic get over his drug addiction. But I assure you, these special stages aren't good either. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing another element that Sonic games love reusing, the half-pipe. Yes, just like Green Hill Zone, this idea for a special stage gets reused a lot too. In these special stages, you guide Sonic and Tails through a long half-pipe that bends up and down and all around, making sure you have enough rings to pass through the colored gates at the end of each section. It's not as annoying as Sonic 1 special stages, but they still suck. It heavily relies on trial and error because you can barely see what's ahead of you, and some of the ring requirements are kind of strict. It also doesn't help that Tails keeps running into fucking everything! Tails picks up rings too, and if he gets hit, he'll lose them just like you would if you hit something. Even if Sonic dodges something, Tails can still get hit by one of the many bombs sprinkled along the half-pipe. Shit! Come on! Fuck! That's bullshit! Ugh! What the fuck? No! Fuck! Damn! Shit! God damn it! Fuck!
F half-pipes.
There's nothing worse than only being a few rings away, but not meeting the correct number of rings and being booted out of the stage, or in worst cases, seeing the emerald right in your grasp and not being able to reach it. Oh, come on! Don't tease me like that! Fuck you! But after you finally get the 7th emerald, you feel accomplished. The main reward for collecting the 7 Chaos Emeralds is Super Sonic. Now this is a reward. Twice the speed, jump height, and you're completely invulnerable? Now that's what we're talking about. You need 50 rings to be able to use Super Sonic, and even then, your ring count will drop down as you're in that form. but this is a solid reward for all that effort. Though it does change the ending a bit, with Sonic giving Tails a solid fuck you and being like, nah man, I can do this myself. Also like the first game, Sonic 2 has some technical problems. Honestly, the slowdown was much worse when I got hit, which surprised me. I didn't remember it being like that, but yeah, it gets slow. Glitch-wise, I did encounter a few and... What the fuck? What's going on here? It's a bit buggy, but nothing unplayable, obviously. It at least goes away with that stupid-ass spike glitch. The game is also quick, like the first game too. It's something that can be beat in a little under an hour as well, so it's definitely possible to beat it in one sitting. Still no save feature though, and it's still lame. This isn't an adventure you have to play alone either. If you plug a controller into the second port, a second player can control Tails for the brief few seconds that he's on screen. Yeah, this doesn't really work out that well. The camera is almost always focused on Sonic, so when you do inevitably outrun Tails, the control gets taken away pretty fast. If you're feeling a little more competitive though, there's always the competition mode.
Where am I going to find someone who'll want to play this with me? I would ask casual Sonic fan Frank, but according to my therapist, he's just a figment of my imagination. Wait a minute. Where's that theme coming from? Another uninvited guest? And he even enters the same way as casual Sonic fan Frank did. Do these intruders have any original ideas?
Hey! Are you looking for someone to play Sonic 2's competition mode with?
Who are you? I swear, people keep coming onto my show uninvited.
I'm the Sonic 2 competition mode guy. And dude, isn't this something like your second episode?
Shut up. Fine. Come on, sit down. Let's do this.
So yes, there is a competition mode. One player takes control of Sonic while the other takes control of Tails, and your goal is to simply beat the other to the signpost at the end of the stage. There are 4 playable stages to choose from: Emerald Hill Zone, Casino Night Zone, Mystic Cave Zone, and the special stages. The special stages also act as a tiebreaker if each player wins one of the 2 rounds. What's neat is that each of these levels have their own theme for the multiplayer as well, and they're also a gym. There are items you can find along the way to give you an edge against the other player, so there is a small element of luck that comes from these races at least. In the normal stages, players are ranked in 5 areas after each match, in score, time, number of rings collected, number of items collected, and rings held at the end of the level, and the one who scores the most out of the 5 categories wins. And oh geez, if you thought the slowdown in the one-player mode was bad, just you wait. Look at this. It's practically unplayable. Blast processing my ass. It's not enough to completely ruin the experience, but it's surely annoying. You'll also have to deal with some awkward aspect squishing, which is unappealing. It's good fun, but nothing that will keep your attention for too long, but I still appreciate the attempt to giving a Sonic game a reason to grab a buddy to play with.
Well, thanks for the help, Sonic 2 competition mode guy.
No problem, man. I never miss an opportunity to play Sonic 2 competition mode.
That's great. Now get the fuck off of my show!
Oh, jeez. Fine. Fucking asshole.
I really need to get a lock for this room. Well anyways, that's mostly what Sonic 2 has to offer, but we're not done yet. We've got ourselves another mobile port to look at, so let's take a look at the Sonic 2 port that was released on iOS and Android as well.
I won't spend as much time on this port because a lot of the improvements from the port of the first game are present here too. This was actually my first experience with Sonic 2. Well, the mobile port before this. Yeah, Sonic 1 and 2 had ports released by Sega on mobile and they were okay. Not too great, but not terrible. Leave it to Christian Whitehead to come in and release some proper mobile ports. But even though the same bells and whistles are here from the first port, this doesn't mean that this version adds nothing to the table. Levels like the first game have different level designs to accommodate Tails and Knuckles' playstyle, which adds some nice replayability to the levels. Speaking of levels, they actually added a playable hidden palace zone. By falling down the giant fuck you pit, which was full of spikes in the original game, you'll be taken to the level, which is a full act, along with a unique boss at the end. It's so cool to see Christian Whitehead actually add this level that mystified players for so many years, and only existed through playable betas. That's not all. The special stages also got a bit of a tune-up. Yeah, they still kinda suck, but they don't suck as much. The new field of view you have makes collecting the emeralds at least feel somewhat easier because you can see more of what's ahead of you, so you're not constantly running into bombs and shit. All in all, just like the other ports, this is the definitive way to play this game, and would wholeheartedly recommend trying these versions out. It's got all the additions that made the first port great, and then some. Honestly, I'm really hoping that the new Sonic Origins collection that's releasing soon will feature these versions.
So, Sonic 2. I mean, what else can I say? I'd be genuinely surprised if somebody could find anything that the first game does better than the sequel. Sonic 2 just improves upon its predecessor in almost every way. Bigger levels, faster gameplay, and a more consistent experience. Even with the game's troubled development, Sonic Team was still able to truly make something special, and made Sonic's presence more intimidating to Nintendo fans. Again, it does have its occasional moments of BS, but it's definitely toned down compared to the first game where it was flat out frustrating. Minus a few moments in Metropolis Zone. The improved control makes the adventure much more thrilling, and leaves for new opportunities to keep the speed going. It's a roller coaster ride that doesn't stop, and it's truly one of Sonic's best titles. Honestly, you can say that this is where the series truly started, and introduced staples like Tails, the Spin Dash, Super Sonic, and much more. More importantly, it's fun from beginning to end, which is more than what Sonic 1 can say at times. In the last video, I made it seem like I'd be looking at Sonic 3 next, but actually I'll be taking a look at Sonic CD next, because it was released roughly around the same time as Sonic 2 was. So next time we return, we'll be looking at Sonic's foray onto the Sega CD. Sonic CD. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
Are you sure you don't want to play another?
Fuck off!